I want to congratulate you and We the World on the 20th anniversary of 11 days of global unity. Together, you, me, and we can create a better world and have fun doing it.
Thank you, Dr. Jane Goodell, for helping We the World and all our partners to celebrate over 20 years of 11 days of global unity. And thank you for joining us. Welcome to the 11 Days of Global Unity Summit. My name is Birgit van Ewy, and I'm the Director of Strategic Engagement and International Outreach for We the World. Today, I'm excited that we will be joined by our special guest, Amanda Waring, who will be talking about peace, the 11th theme of the 11 Days of Global Unity. For the full 11 days schedule, you can register by going to 11daysofglobalunity.org. That's the numeral 11. There you will find access to all the 11 Days Summit broadcasts. You can also visit we.net to take action with the 11 campaigns for change, subscribe to Trans Magazine, and you can support this global work by contributing at we.net/donate. A heartfelt thank you to all of you who make this possible. Before we bring on our speaker, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some of our incredible partners who we support and collaborate with during the 11 Days of Global Unity and throughout the year. The UN International Day of Peace NGO Committee, Peace Day Philly, the Unite for Peace Coalition, including Unity Earth, the Sign Network, One World, and Hubcast Media, the Awakening World, We the World, May Peace Prevail on Earth International, United Religions Initiative, Pathways to Peace, Global Silent Minute, Children of the Earth, Climate Week, the Deep and Rapid Transformation Convergence, Good News Broadcast in Times Square, and Pace Bene Nonviolence Campaign. Together, these groups represent millions of people working to achieve global unity and peace. This movement is a living example of what becomes possible when we act from interdependence, compassion, and shared purpose, all working with We the World and the We campaign at we.net. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us here. Together, today we gather around a theme that feels especially vital: poetry and inner and outer peace. Our guest, Amanda Waring, is an international acclaimed performer, filmmaker, poet, and inspirational speaker whose life's work bridges the arts and healing. She's a passionate advocate for elder care, dignity, and compassion. Amanda has touched audiences from the House of Lords to the United Nations, performed for Her Majesty the Queen, and shared her peace poetry on global stages. Through her award-winning films, books, music, and sacred ceremonies, she weaves creativity with advocacy, offering powerful messages of hope, resilience, and personal healing. Her work uplifts women, communities, and caregivers worldwide, reminding us of the profound dignity and compassion at the heart of our shared humanity. It is my honor to welcome Amanda Waring, an artist and poet for whom poetry is not only an art form, but also a vessel for transformation, healing at home. So again, today, welcome Amanda. Today we explore how poetry can be both a mirror and a bridge, and how it can guide us inward towards stillness and self-understanding, and outward towards empathy, connection, and peace in the wider world. And I would like to give the word to Amanda now to take over and share her beautiful work and poetry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's a joy and an honor to be here and on this special time of peace. And what I wanted to do was to share from my poetry that I've written that is used for inner and outer peace, personal and global. So I'm just going to take you on a journey, maybe like 20 minutes of threaded through poetry. So I'm going to ask you all to just take that moment to find words that may resonate with your soul, to empower you to contribute to a more peaceful world within yourself and in the outer world too. May these poems awaken your ability to open your heart to yourself. And I just want to give you some time to answer the questions in the very first poem, which is really for inner reflection. It's a powerful way to create awareness and positive change towards peace. And I'm reading from my book here, which is We Are Family. and this is poetry for inspiring personal healing and global peace. So my first poem, the soul-searching poem for you. What needs healing in me? What inspires me? What tires me? What do I need to release? How do I find peace? Who do I want to become? Have I become numb? Can I find my voice? Can I live as my choice? Can I connect? Do I reject myself? What have I learned? Where have I got burnt? Can I let love in and begin to heal? And one of the ways to find peace is to be able to welcome oneself to oneself. How many times are we able to sit in our own heart, in the hammock of our own heart, in the surrender to our divine nature, our inner child? And so this next series of poems is to help you find some peace in the transitions of, if you like, birth, death, life, rebirth, and to find that element within your own inner child that may need to feel welcomed. All of you feel welcomed to you. So see how you feel with this one. Be welcomed. Welcome to you, child of the seas and the trees and the earth and the stars. Medicine child, awake to the quake of your joy dance, your entrance, your birth. Bring forth your gifts, your magic, your ways, and live in beauty all of your days. Held in ceremony, ritual and rhyme, sealed with love so deep and divine. This is your time. Feel our call. Be witnessed, held and loved by all. Child of all time, welcome. And the invitation, come, come, you are not done. Come back from the brink, you will not sink. Surfs up, waves are coming in. Fly on silver crests, bring forth your best journey. Set sail on the back of a whale, I will sing you back. Come back, come back, you are not done. Listen to my love song. It's here where you belong. And the return. And so the child came back. Oh, she came back star-laden, embravened, painted with the holy raven's connection. She found her ways through that thickening haze. She didn't choke, but let the croak of frogs cleanse her clear. She walked and talked and ran and sang, and she was free. Ooh, ooh, and the release. And the child swayed under the gaze of a swaying palm, And she lifted her voice and released her love charms, which carried in song reached where they belonged. She sung the songs of liberation and divination, and she whispered wonders on the breeze. Child of all time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. And just allow yourself to take a beautiful deep breath into your heart. Feeling that welcome, feeling all the stages of you welcomed. Feeling the possible peace that that brings you, and allowing yourself to breathe into a space in the chamber of your heart that has been shut. Breathe into a space in the chamber of your heart that has been shut. A chamber of secrets, perhaps. Sometimes we defend ourselves against the world because of the fear of hurt, desolation. But actually, if you open your heart wider in those circumstances, then pain and grief can wash through you. Often it takes so much energy to hold the tides back. And sometimes it's advisable to let the river flow through you so it doesn't stick and it doesn't cause that tension, which is what can disturb your inner peace so much. So my own grandmother was my solace, my safe harbour as a child. And in these poems, I wish to share the comfort of the universal grandmothers that weave their golden threads of light and compassion. So lean into their wisdom to weave with your own, lighting the light of peace in the body, mind, and soul. So I call upon the grandmothers, my body immersed in salt water. If I call long enough, they must hear this granddaughter. I look down on my sea-wrinkled skin, willing ancient wisdom to seep in. They answer, and I float peaceful now. My layers of imperfect memories loosen, carried away by the tide, swept away by the tide. Grandmother's song. I'm gonna blow a soul sound into you, child. I'm gonna blow a soul sound into your soul. I'm gonna weave the words that I've been told, speak them soft and speak them bold, unify and rectify the lost parts of your heart. I'm going to sing your soul song and bring you home and remind you that in your darkness, you are loved. In your grief, you are loved. In your aloneness, you are loved. In your silence, you are loved. And in your seeking, you are loved. My grandmother and her grandmother and her grandmother before wrap you in a shawl of song and story, reflecting back the glory of all that you are. We sing from the stars. We sing from the moon. We sing healing to mend all your wounds and your scars. I'm gonna blow a soul sound into you, child. I'm gonna blow a soul sound into your soul. I'm going to weave the words that I've been told, speak them soft and speak them bold, unify and rectify the lost parts of your heart. And allow yourself to feel nestled in the love of the grandmothers. Allow yourself to surrender that which is not peaceful within you, to offer that to the grandmothers for soothing, for restoring, for recalibration, so that you can rest. And we're coming into a series of poems now, which is called Silence is Golden. So within these poems, may you be inspired to rest, to restore, to meditate, to sleep, to find grace and gratitude in the power of solitude to bring inner peace. Softly, softly, I awake to myself. Slowly, slowly, I stir, keeping my balance, walking the tightrope of existence. Gently, gently, I rock myself to sleep once more. Meditation. I am filled with light, precise white, diamond light. An overcrowded starry night within a chaos world is distilled to this. Pure silence, bliss. Within a world of unending echoes, finally the reverberations stop. Silence reveals neither passing of time or ticking of clock, but the joining of time and a single heart beating. And take a breath of silence into your soul right now. Beautiful. And these next poems are to help you find the blessing of peace and love in your relationships as well. And so often our peace is disturbed when we perhaps don't listen to our own intuition. And perhaps we feel that we have lost our way. And so this poem is Love or Need. What is the difference between love and need? Love is a flowering and an unfurling. Need is a grabbing and a tightening. Love is space, breath, light, respect and warming joy. Need is despair, addiction, shadowed pain and drowning. Love is movement. Need is strangulation. Love is acceptance. Need is control. Love is free. Need is martyred. Love is trust. Need is mistrust. Love is letting go of fear. Need needs to feed off fear. Love allows connection. Need traps one in isolation. Love is. Need wants to be. You choose to love or need. And recognizing that aspect in ourselves that is needing rather than allowing, grabbing rather than allowing a growth to occur through the space in between. That's where relationships to ourselves and to others can grow, because there's space to grow. And this is the self-love remedy. Listening to the birds, and I heard my name. Feeling the earth beneath me, and I felt no shame. Yes, I am raw, messy, wild and wise and not to be tamed, but that does not mean I should feel blamed for my imperfections, but accepted for the depths at which I can accept myself. Just coming towards the part of this program that I'm sharing with you now that comes to really looking at peace and solace in grief. How do we find peace when we are in grief? And in this poem particularly, I want to offer you something for comfort, reconciliation, tender compassion, understanding and hope. And the ability to let go is encouraged to allow inner peace to grow. You know, Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Honored grief, polished tears, grief revered, honored, kissed, knelt before, pain elevated in ceremony, polished tears shining bright, washed with compassion and divine light, pain blessed, not ignored or hid away, polished tears, a necklace of honored, felt, loved, and lived experiences. And often for myself, when I am in grief, I will need to get into the water and I will let my tears fill the bath if needs be. But I will allow myself to cry, to express myself. And part of the gift of poetry for my own healing, there are poems that I write that are very, not for right now, but for another session, that deal with the most difficult traumas. And sometimes for individuals, they might not be able to process their own trauma, but when they can hear it of another, the echo of that resonance can help them to gently, gently unpack what's needed to be unpacked in a soft way. And I just want to give you a poem here called The Herd. Perhaps if it's raining as well, you might find it's a lovely time to go outside and let the tears, just like me in the bath, let water meet water. Stately buffalo clouds roam silently across the sky, honoring the four directions, reminding me I am protected. The low mist appears, ghost dancers coming closer, trailing soft rain, cleansing, flowing, clearing the way for me to release my pain. And perhaps this moment of honoring peace There are some of my poems that I use for people to inspire them to take sacred action for peace, for global peace. And my poem, We Are Family, is that one. But I wanted to look at now, particularly as I've been doing so much work with Indigenous elders as well, who have had such beautiful wisdom around ways to create pathways for peace in communities, in leadership, in connection with nature, in looking at the sharing capacities of ourselves within others. So gratitude is one of the ways that we find peace, and honoring our ancestors as well is another way to sometimes find peace. So I want to share this poem, which I've created often as a celebrant and a medicine woman. I'm asked to take deep ceremonies at times of transition, be that funerals, be that births or deaths. And this one particularly was for a beautiful burial for a beloved ancestor. And may you honor your ancestors at this moment in time. Maybe listen to it and have your hand on your heart. And just give thanks to your ancestors for bringing you to this place. Without them, you would not be here. And we ask that only those ancestors that wish for our highest good draw near to bring peace to the world through us and with us. May we become conduits of loving peace and honoring and gratitude for Mother Earth and for our kinship and our sacred family. As we stand on this sacred land at this sacred time, may we honor our ancestors, those that have gone before, so that we can be born into this dear world once more. May we give thanks to Blessed Mother Earth, who holds us so tenderly and shares her beauty so generously. We honor and give thanks to the standing ones, the oaks, the trees, who witness our ceremony. They hold and transmute divine love and remind us to root ourselves in love and with love. We give thanks to the winged ones, the birds that sing the love of joy's remembrance, reminding us to give voice to love. We give thanks to the waters of the earth that lead us back to our rebirth and the renewal of sacred ways. We give thanks to the bright golden sun, reminding us we are all one and to bask in the warmth of love. We give thanks to the gentle breeze, rustling the leaves on the trees, reminding us to let love be free. And we honor the seeds within this holy ground, in this forest, where we have found a place of grace and peace, where love divine will never cease. May there be peace in your east and peace in your west. May there be peace in your north and peace in your south. May there be peace without and peace within, as our journey of peace it brings, as our journey of life it brings, as our journey of peace it sings. And take a deep breath into your heart and breathe out through the back of your heart anything that is not peaceful. And I hope that today has given you a bit of inspiration, that my session has made you feel loved and seen and heard and respected, and that you allow that grief to flow when you need to not get stuck in grief and places of non-peace. And if you are in relationships of places where you are in non-peace, recognize the need of recognizing love or need. Which are you living by right now? And may you have felt the peace of being welcomed by the grandmothers, and also the peace of you welcoming yourself through all the stages and ages, through all the transitions that you have had and the transitions to come. May we be at peace with the change, and may we recognize that we can create world peace within finding also that inner peace. When we radiate that, we radiate love, and we radiate to affect the collective consciousness and the heart of this world. So thank you so much. And Brigitte, I hope that you will ask me or tell me what moved you or touched you.
I was just about to say it's it's almost difficult to continue a conversation after, because your poetry takes the listener, including me, to a different place. And I think your poetry has such a special gift. And in general, maybe poetry holds a place which maybe prose can't, because it allows you space for silence, for grief, for transformation. It's meditation, it's prayer, as you mentioned. It creates healing. It invites, and I think that was so beautiful, and all the poetry you shared with us today, that I was reflecting about the title, how suitable, fitting this title is, because it creates an inner peace, and at the same time it invites an outer peace to share, and it offers, room for dialogue and space. So I must say this is beyond beautiful. And obviously I would have, I can't even, it's your poetry is an example that art is not something abstract. It can create something living. It can, it just goes beyond the abstract. And this is so, it's your poetry is timeless, and it creates respect. It invites us, and not only invites us, it creates, I don't want to use the word force, because there's such a negative word. I'm trying to find the right word, but since English is not my native language, I can't come up quickly. But it creates an aura that makes us listen, whether we intend to or not, but in a beautiful way. And so I think it's beautiful how it bridges the inner and the outer, bridges and also connects the dialogue between the inner and outer piece, and invites at the same time to inner and outer piece. It's absolutely beautiful. And obviously, again, there would be a million questions. So,
fine, darling, you don't have,
no. I'm just thinking, I'm thinking about our audience now. I hope at some point we can have another conversation and another recording again, and talk more, not only what your poetry creates, but also talk more about the poetry itself, in order to help understand. I'm sure we don't need to help to understand, because the words speak for themselves, but yet to help the audience a bit more to understand, what poetry actually is and what poetry means, and again, that it creates, again, everyone feels that, that's the beauty of poetry. It's a feeling, it's an emotion.
Yes.
But it requires your talent to create this type of poetry, and create this sense of belonging through your poetry is absolutely incredible. And if I do have a question, looking back, about your looking back on your journey, and having had such wide different audiences. On the one hand, I'm curious how the response was to your audience, from to your poetry, since they're so different and wide, not different, wide, diverse. Let's call it diverse. And on the other hand, is there something that your poetry taught yourself about the essence of our shared humanity while creating this poetry?
Oh, yeah, those are great questions. I think my poetry has come for, particularly the poetry that's for looking at trauma.
Mm.
Those are very deep poems, which we may or may not be sharing at another time. So those have been used with therapists as well. They're powerful. They're 15-minute medicine journeys. So I've kind of strung together 4 or 5 poems, which, if you like, is like homeopathy. So it works because you hear the undiluted raw. They're very raw, they're very real. There's a different style which I perform them in. They are more like raps almost.
Mhm.
But hearing that raw style and that resting through, and I want to help people to navigate themselves through healing that is not so traumatic, but is still able to reach those deeper, darker parts that we ignore. So I think my poetry has been received beautifully. I mean, it's on my YouTube channel, so I'd love people if they want. It's
Please
where I
share.
post my, it's on Amanda Waring Films on YouTube. But also, those poems come with a warning as well, because they are, they give at the end places to go, people to talk to speak with if they have brought up other emotions. And what I tend to do with my poetry is I do, poetry for the dying. So I will write individual people poems as a death doula as well, to help their passing, which in a way helps them make sense of some aspects of their life or some aspects of their fear. And I also create medicine poetry for people that come to me on Zoom for sound healings, or for any form of.
Mm.
I'm a mentor for quite a lot of women in particular, and I will always weave in poetry because I find that it comes anyway. Like, it's quite fun sometimes if I'm doing opening a building or doing something else that I might be asked to do in my different capacities, my different roles. And I'll find that all this poetry just comes out that I can't help speaking in rhyme. So I think for me, the receiving of poetry is sometimes people don't even realize they are hearing poetry. They just know that they're listening in a different way. And it's because of the rhythm, and it's because of the, like you said, the heavy pauses that can be there as well. So I love to then, with my sound also, is to shake people up and take them on. Not today, this was not that. I wanted to keep a kind of consistency of peace. But sometimes we have to shake people up with some poems that are very, very full on. So I have
Mm.
my poem "We Are Family," which is actually done as a musical rap that is played for ecstatic dances to get people
Wow,
fired up and to
beautiful.
take action. So I will, my films that I've made are all films of poetry, which is funny because apart from my documentaries, I hadn't really realized that poetry, it ebbs and flows in my life. It's not always
Mm.
there. It's not like it suddenly appears. Um,
I was
Some of
just about to ask also, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I was also thinking when you just, you're hearing your reflection, I was also thinking about, are there certain practices or rituals that help you stay open and inspiration and also be authentic, obviously, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
it's
probably a challenge too in today's world. I mean,
yeah, I'm really old-fashioned. If a poem comes to me or something I need to express, I just feel, I've always got, like, I have to write on paper and pen.
mm,
And I write like a child, and normally I like to lie down on the earth and use a big, big felt tip pen on a massive size paper. Um, and it comes out like that. I cannot write on a computer or a
mm,
laptop or anything like that. So I have to, that's how I'm a bit of a nightmare, in the sense that if you saw my house, it's filled with scraps of bits of paper of poems that are just like, oh, and I have still got to find all those pieces of paper, put them together. So yeah, for me, it's not, if you said to me, I could write a poem on any subject. on some levels without being arrogant about it, because any of us could. We can string some words together, even if it's just 5 words. But I think I recognize when I'm in what I would call that healing medicine space, when I get that feeling of I really need to listen into my own words. And it's a very delicious feeling, because it's a
You
bit.
see, I was just about to ask if it's also a vulnerable feeling, because you make yourself vulnerable at the same time, right? Or I mean,
Yeah,
and I don't mean this necessarily in the, yeah, go ahead.
No. I mean, the raw, vulnerable ones, the poems that come through, they rip through like a storm. They come out all my poems come out in one go. They're not, I don't reassess them. They tend to be as they are. Very rarely do I adjust anything, because I think, again, that feeling of that authenticity is really, it means a lot. That means a lot to me. It means a lot to me in life as well. So yes, but when the storms come through, those ones, wow, I haven't got enough paper and enough pens as they come through. But I think what I love is that when I am writing a poem for somebody for their passing, or for their christening, or for a commemoration of love, I ask what is in the most loving capacity for the deepest revealing or revelation of honoring of those individuals. And then I wait, and then I allow my spirit to fly. And when I kind of fly, that's when I know I'm writing words that hopefully ring true.
Thank you, Amanda. I mean, again, I have so many more questions for you, and I hope we will have you in another conversation. And but unfortunately, we do have to come to the end. But I have one final for the present panel here and for our audience today. Is there something you can offer in a sentence or two to our audience, a lesson, a practice for embracing peace in their daily life, some form of peace building, self-reflection?
Yes, how about this? It's a quote from Helen Keller, and I love it. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. I will not refuse to do the something I can do.
You know, again, it's so difficult to talk because we all need time for reflection, but we are in a space here where this is not possible. But I hope our audience will be able to listen and pause, not hear me talk. But Amanda, thank you so much for your absolutely beautiful and extraordinary reflections here, for sharing your gift with us today, for your closing thoughts. It couldn't have been a more beautiful closing and opening at the same time. And again, it's I hope we can take this. We all can take your poetry, you know, and your message and your mission forward, and that we can take your words into our lives, you know, using poetry as a practice to listening and healing and connection, and that we live with awareness of our interdependence, and shift from a me to a we and create a world that is rooted in compassion and peace.
Yes.
So thank you so much, and thank you everyone who joined us for this conversation today, our listeners, and obviously a special thank you to our guest Amanda Waring. We are promoting the hashtag urgency for action. That's urgency, the number 4, and then action. This is our shared invitation to return flexion into impact. And I also want to mention the We Power campaign. It's about the power of we, millions of us coming together to transform our society. So it prioritizes the common good, our shared humanity. To help us launch the We Power campaign, please go to we.net/we We Power campaign. I'm sorry, let me repeat this. we.net/we Power campaign. So thank you so much to our incredible guest Amanda Waring for joining us today. Thank you all for watching this and for being part of 11 Days of Global Unity. To get involved, go to we.net, and it's all about we. So what we do is it's all about we, and that's why we launched we.net, and it's like together we can create a world that works for all. So it's like going from a me society to a we society. So again, Amanda, thank you. And thank you so much to our listeners and to our audience. And
till we meet
we
again.
hope we see you again. We will meet again.
Bye-bye.